Hey, what's up with all those rested druids? Why are they all hanging out? Well, hello there. I'm Gwen. Thank you for joining me on my ongoing quest to create my perfect World of Warcraft house. In this series, I walk through the steps of how I got started. I document my trials and tribulations, making my ideas come to fruition. Thank you for being here. It means more to me than you know. Now, let's make it ours. Welcome to our humble abode. Now the outside is done, we can start working on the inside. We do not have to know our layout right now. You have time to make a decision. We can take it one room at a time. Now, some things that you should think about though is, do you want to stick with a theme? And if you do, what kind of theme would you like to stick with? As far as design goes, you can do anything from the Alliance, Night Elf, and Human. And then on the Horde side, you can do anything that's Orc related and Blood Elf related. So you might want to kind of pick one style to be your predominant one. Not that you can't mix and match styles. That's perfectly fine. And then the other thing you should think about is, what does this house mean to you? What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to look at every time you come visit it? What do you want other people to see when they walk in? And what do you want them to know about you? So while you have all that in mind and are kind of contemplating that, let's go over the basics to get started on how to place rooms and the budget and all that good technical stuff. So the first thing is, when you walk into the house, you'll see that you'll have your house menu on top, just like you do outside. And then the menu on the bottom that, again, looks like just the outside. So instead of the house exterior being on number 5, it is your floor plan. The number that you see up here to the right hand side is your place decor budget. So right now we only have 3 out of 3,500 items placed. Your house chest is where it normally is on the left side. And now we want to go ahead and start looking at the floor plan. So just to let you know, we're going to pretend that there is nothing here in the entryway. I went through and started editing the video and realized I left out a lot of things that I wanted to go over. So I just decided to re-record the tutorial on how to place rooms. So with that being said, let's talk about how to place rooms. First thing you want to be aware of is your floor, which is down here in the right hand corner. You can select a room by left clicking. You can zoom in and out using the mouse wheel up and down. Up in the right hand corner is your room placement budget. This is earned by gaining levels on your house. You have a very small to start with. In fact, I think it's a 19 when you're at level 1 to start with. And then I think it goes all the way up to 95 for right now. Where your house chest is actually what rooms you have that are available to place. And then you see the famous yellow dot again. So that's how we add rooms. At level 2, you unlock the medium square room. At level 3, you unlock the daylight circle room. At level 4, you unlock the large octagon room. At level 5 is the large square room and the evening circle room. At level 6 is the hearth lights, bigger interior budgets at level 7. Then medium house exterior at level 8. And then you get bigger interior budgets at level 9. And then there's nothing for level 10 yet, but it is coming. This is where you kind of need to think about how you want to lay out a little bit. You don't need to have it all planned out in your head at all. You can take it one room at a time. You just want to think about your traffic flow of where you walk in, what you're going to see when you walk in, and how to design without getting lost. So first, how do you add a room? You're going to click the yellow dot and you're going to pick whatever room you want, and then it will appear and it tells you what it is. You just click the title and you can rotate the room around. You can move the room somewhere else if there was more, another place to move it to. And then if you pick the wrong room, you just delete it. And it'll ask, and you can just say yes and it'll go away. Now, one thing I did run into that I was unaware of is if you have another doorway open to another room and you want to change this room, it will not let you delete it without deleting this room first. Now you can delete this one. Good thing and bad thing is if you have furniture in a room and you decide this is not what you want and you delete the room, the decor all goes back in the storage. So you don't lose any decor, but you lose the amount of time it took you to place all of that decor. There's also the floors that I mentioned. When you want to add stairs or you want to add the empty stairwell room, which gives you the effect of having a double height room, it'll change the floor for you. So we're going to go ahead and click on this yellow dot and then we're going to add stairs. Now, what matters here is you see this little line right here. That is where the stairs start. And then this blue line is where it ends. And then you can see it's the opposite this way. So it's, you go up the stairs this way and then you're at the top on this side instead. So once you do have a double floor room placed, now you can pick from floor 1 and floor 2. And you can see floor 1 kind of shades away in the background. You can now go ahead and place another room. Now, as you can see, what you can place is limited to a certain extent. The evening and daylight rooms are finicky where you can place them. Mostly I've figured out you can place them on the first floor at the end with no other rooms around. So once you have that placed, if you want to add another room, you can do so, and it doesn't matter what's underneath. Go ahead and click back on the decor mode, and it's going to put me into the house. And these are the rooms that we just laid out on the floor plan. So now I obviously don't want to have a dark entryway since I want to open up to a big, grand, airy entryway. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Blood Elf theme. Go to customize mode, and then you get your little painter board, and then you click the wall that you want to change, and then there's a drop down menu, and it gives you all of the options that you can pick from. Now the wall style is the trim to make it easier. So we're going to go with the Blood Elf theme, and I kind of like the light color better than the dark because I like lighter. Not the theme that I'm going for, so I'm going to go ahead, and this goes to what the wall is made out of. So I want everything to have that silver moon etched marble. So once you get one wall looking the way that you want the rest of the room to look, you can hit these boxes over here and it'll apply it to the whole room. So that way you don't have to go click anything individually all the time. Now for the floor, I obviously want to go with the silver moon mosaic. And for the ceiling, rather than go with the silver moon light, I'm going to go generic. And then I'm going to go with the wood panel because it softens the ceiling rather than having the wood beams up there. And we might cover it up later. I still haven't made up my mind exactly what I'm going to do. because I like the raised ceilings. But again, large spaces are traps. So we can always change it. For right now, we're going to work in this area right here since there's a lot of directions that we needed to go over. For the basics, just to get started, I figured it's easier to start in a little space. So what I'm asking myself right now while I'm looking at this is, when people walk in and turn around and look at the door, what do I want them to see? I can say that I don't really like the fact that there is the Orgrimmar city door in a Blood Elf house. But for right now, to my knowledge, they do not have an entry door that is in the Blood Elf theme. And the other problem is if you cover the door or delete the door and put a different door in, you won't be able to get out of your house besides her thing. So we're kind of stuck with it. However, there's nothing that says that we can't try to cover it up a little bit. And of course, we're going to stick with that Blood Elf theme. So I'm going to go in my design chest here, or my house chest, and I'm going to go ahead and go into structures, and then the walls and column structures. And immediately right there, I want to go ahead and throw my Blood Elf pillars, because that definitely marks a Blood Elf thing. Now, obviously, these things are way too big for this room. However, I want to make sure that they cover the whole door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and center this as best I can. And it almost looks like it's kind of off the floor right there. But it's probably fine. I, however, am going to use the advanced tools to go ahead and sink that pillar right down into the floor a little more, so it doesn't look like it's floating. Now I want to go ahead and push this with the advanced tools as far back into the wall as I can, while keeping the old parts of the door covered. So we're going to do something like that. And then we're going to go over on the other side and basically do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and try to sink into the floor. And there's nothing wrong with going ahead and coming over and making sure that these guys are as close to the same height as possible, because it is sometimes difficult to line up. I always like having the grid on. It does help with lining things up. I don't want to smush the door so much that it looks tiny. So what I'm going to do is try to move them so at least the gold ring is not on the door. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take the silver moon beam to cover that top crossbar. Now I'm not sure what size I want it to be yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and go to my advanced tools, click on that, and then I'm going to use the arrows to play with it a little bit, because I don't want to see the beam on either side of the, poking out of either side of the pillar right here. And it looks like having it at 100%, that might not be possible. I'm going to move that down a little more. Actually, I'm going to bring it right down, almost covering the wood. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and push that in a little more, because again, I want to make sure it covers the old parts of the door, but I don't want it to stick out of the pillar on either side, which it looks like it has not. So we're good there. And if I could just bring it down, ooh, but then that part pokes out. All right, we got to come forward a tad bit more. I don't know if that's going to mess up. Yeah, now I see it in that pillar and that pillar. Okay. We got to scale this down just a little bit. I'm going to try go 95. Because again, I want to make sure everything's covered. Oh, and that part of the door is sticking through again. Oop. There we go. Try to get that as close as possible. Okay. And then now we're going to go ahead and push this down so it's not covering the glass, but it's touching the glass. Okay. And then we can actually push this back a little bit. All right, so it looks like we cannot cover the whole thing. No problem. So what we're going to do is push that in to cover the wood and the metal parts. And then we're going to go ahead and do another silver moonbeam. Again, I'm going to leave it at the 100%. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into advanced tools and sink that into the wall and the pillars. And again, this is going to have to come down in size. So we're going to go down to 95, just like the other one. And then now I'm just going to fidget with it till I think it looks good. Which I like that right there, because it gives a little bit of difference in everything. And then I'll put some potted plants or something up here, I think. And then actually talking about plants, since I do want to bring a lot of the outside in, I think I want to go ahead and put 2 flower beds on either side as you walk in. So what I'm going to do is, I'm really bad at judging radius and size and all that good stuff. So I'm going to at least use a elven bar, or curved table, I'm sorry. And that will kind of help me with where I want everything to go, how to line it up. And I'm going to put another one on the side too. And I might even work it into the aesthetic as well. So now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and fidget with the size. Using the advanced tools. Because I want to be able to sink most everything into the pillar. But I want to make it look somewhat even. And then I want to cover that. Okay. I think that's okay. All right. So actually, let's do one. Yeah, I think I like that a little better. All right. And I think I'm going to bring that right down to cover that gold ring. Okay. And then we're going to go on this side as well and put that to 110. And try to copy. So it looks the same. By all means, use the grid. Check the squares. See if it lines up a little bit. Which, looking at it, I think I need to go that way. Yes, definitely needed to go that way. Okay. And then are we in the floor the same amount? I think I can go a little lower there, right? No. This one I can go a little lower. And again, you don't need to be this picky, because it's not like anybody's going to come into your house, go on to first person and be like, oh, that's not touching the floor all the way. Don't worry. And besides, we're going to add stuff to make it more distracting, so they'll forget that there's even a ridge there. All right, so these are pretty small areas that we got to fill. So we want to make sure to not overpower. It's very, very easy to overpower in a small, cozy area. So we need the right balance. And of course, I love these trees. I don't know if they're gonna work though, but I would love to start with these. So for video length's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the video here but feel free to slow it down and pause to see what I pull out. And this way you'll be able to see my process, but not actually need to sit here for the whole time while I'm sitting here talking to myself, figuring it all out. So please enjoy. So I really would love to work these pink trees in. They're my favorite. Unfortunately, they are kind of large, so I'm going to, resize them, because of course I want to leave them as big as I can, and rotate it around and try to get them all fit. I do want to make the sides mostly uniform, with a little variation. I'm going to pull all this stuff out of my catalog just to see what I have to work with, so it's right in front of me. As you can see, I'm pulling out blue flowers, the different clusters, moving things around, rotating them. The biggest thing is I want to get this filled in so you don't see the floor, although you could use a woven rug to hide the floor as well. But I want to make it look all natural. I added the rocks and everything to help as well, but I don't want to overpower everybody as they walk into the house. And I, of course, want to add lighting. I did settle on the Nightborn lights. The problem is I would like some background lighting, and I don't know if it's strong for that. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and place them in front and just see what it looks like, and maybe we'll change it later. Okay, so I think we got some nice lighting and some really nice nature in here. The only thing is that it is bothering me is the etched marble is a little too bright, I think. So I'm going to try to change it to the soft wood instead. And then maybe even, what if we change this to generic? I think that might be a better contrast. And then I'm thinking, I like the way the ceiling is. I like how this all goes. It feels nice, warm, and inviting. Yet it's, designed to lead you farther into the house. I'm not sure, but it sure looks shady to me. Thank you for coming along with me as we bring this chapter of the quest to a close. Please smack that like button, hit follow or subscribe, and leave your inspirations, suggestions, and ideas in the comments. Until next time, stay awesome, stay inspired, and thank you.